Hello everyone, my name is Chandra Prakash Bahuna and today I want to discuss an interview in a company called Cast24 and the company location is Gurgaon and the interview date was the January 7, 2025. So the first question they asked me try catch example. So in PHP, the try catch block is used to handle the exception. The code inside the try block is executed, and if the exception occurs, it is called by the catch block, where you can handle the error gracefully. So syntax: try, code that may throw an exception; catch exception, code to handle the exception. So explanation: the divide function takes two numbers as input. If the denominator is 0, an exception is thrown. If the catch block catches the exception and displays an error message, if no exception occurs, the function returns the result of the division. Also, I have some notes for the try catch block. So let us suppose you have a try block and inside that you have three statements: statement 1, statement 2 and statement 3. Then you have the catch block and inside that you have the statement 4, and then you have the finally block and you have the statement 5, and outside these blocks you have the statement 6. So case 1 is if there is no exception, then statement 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 normal termination. Okay. Case 2, if an exception raised as the statement 2 and the corresponding catch block matched. So statements 1, 4, 5, 6, that is a normal termination. Case 3, if an exception raised at statement 2 and the corresponding catch block doesn't match, then statement 1, 5, abnormal termination. Case 4, if an exception raised at statement 4 which is inside the catch block, then it is always abnormal, but before abnormal termination finally block will be executed. Case 5, if an exception raised at statement 5 or at statement 6, then it is always abnormal termination. So the conclusion is, within the try block, if anywhere exception raised, then rest of the try block won't be executed even though we handled that exception. Hence, length of the try block should be as less as possible, and we have to take only the risky code within the try block. Second, in addition to the try block, there may be a chance of raising an exception inside the catch and the finally block. If any statement raises an exception which is not the part of the try block, then it is always abnormal termination. Second question they asked me about the normalization, that what is the normalization in MySQL. Okay, so the normalization is, so in database, normalization refers to organizing database column, rows and table to minimize the data redundancy. So we have 1NF, 2NF, 3NF. 1NF means eliminate repeating groups. 2NF is eliminating partial dependencies. 3NF eliminating transitive dependency. Or we can say that the first is about the eliminating repetitive group. The second is eliminating the redundant data. And the third normalization is eliminating the columns that don't depend on the keys. Some other I know are the voice code, optimal and domain key form. Okay. The third question they ask me cookies. So for non-logged in user, you can store data temporarily in the cookies or the local storage on the client side. So how do you use cookies? So cookies allow you to store data on the user's browser which persists even after the browser is closed unless the cookie expires. So set cookie, user cookie temporary value time plus 3600, that means 1 hour. After 1 hour cookie is expired. Access the cookie. If is set $cookie user data, then echo $cookie user data. So the output will be the temporary value. So using local storage, that is the client side JavaScript, although not directly part of the PHP, local storage is a common method of storing non-sensitive user data in the browser. You can use JavaScript to handle that. So store data in the local storage dot set item user data temporary value. Access data from the local storage, let user data equal to local storage get item user data, then console.log user data, then the output will be the temporary value. So key differences: session stores data server side, cookie store data client side on the user's browser, database stores permanent user data server side for logged in users, local storage stores data client side on the user's browser for non-logged in users, only available to the JavaScript within the same origin or not sent to the browser. The fourth question they asked me, the routes. So routes defines how URL map to the controller and action. So for example, the syntax is you have URL / control method parameters. Example, you have example.com / products / view / 123. So this maps to controller products, method views, and parameter 123. So type of routes: static routes, fixed URLs pattern. For example, $routes get home :index. So maps to home controller index method. Second, dynamic routes, variable URL pattern with parameter. So routes get product / num products : details $1. So this is a dynamic parameter. Third, custom routes defined using regular expressions. Example, $routes add product / 0 to 9 4 products : details / $1. So matches 4 digits number. Question number 5, they asked me the microservices. So microservices in an architectural style where a big application is broken down into small independent services that work together. Each service focuses on a single functionality and communicate with other services through APIs. So think of a microservices like a restaurant. The kitchen, cooking services prepare food. The cash counter, that is the billing service, handles payments. The waiter, order services, takes orders and deliver foods. Each part, that is services, does its job independently but works together to run the restaurant efficiently. Simple example in PHP. Imagine an e-commerce website with the following microservices: user services, product services, and order services. So user services manages user products or manages user accounts. Product services stores product details. Order services handles order processing. So let us suppose you have the user.php. So the echo JSON encode user ID 1, name John Doe. Then product services, that is the product.php. Echo JSON encode product ID 101, name laptop, price 50,000. Order services, that is the order.php. So $user equal to JSON decode. File get contents, then URL / user.php, then true. $product equal to JSON decode. File get content localhost / product .php true. So dollar order equal to order ID equal to 1001, user dollar username, product dollar product name, total price dollar product price, echo JSON encode dollar order. Each services run independently but works together to the complete an order. The next question they asked me about the next question they asked me about the interface and abstract class. So if we don't know anything about the implementation, just we have the requirement specification, then we should go for a interface. If we are talking about implementation but not completely, that is a partial implementation, then we should go for abstract class. Inside interface, every method is always public and abstract, whether we are declaring or not. Hence, interface is also considered as 100% pure abstract class. Every method present in abstract class need not to be public and abstract. In addition to abstract methods, we can take concrete methods also. Third, we can't declare interface method within the following modifier: public, private, protected, abstract, final, static, synchronized, native, strict, FP. We can declare abstract method, no restriction on the abstract class method modifiers. Fourth, every variable present inside the interface is always public, static and final, whether we are declaring or not. The variables present inside the abstract class need not to be public, static and final. Fifth, we cannot declare interface variable with the following modifiers: private, protected, transit, volatile. There are no restriction and abstract class variable for modifier. For interface variables, compulsory we should perform initialization at the time of declaration. Otherwise, we'll get compile time error. For abstract class variable, it is not required to perform initialization at the time of the declaration. Seventh, inside interface, we cannot declare instance and static blocks. Otherwise, we'll get compile time error. Inside abstract class, we can declare instance and static blocks. Inside interface, we cannot declare constructors. Inside abstract class, we can declare constructor which will be executed at the time of the child object creation. So note 1, since Java 8, interface can have default and static method also. Note 2, abstract class can have final, non-final, static and non-static variables. Note 3, serialization implementation is possible in interface using maker interface. Okay. So the next question they asked me, transactions in PHP. So a transaction in PHP is used to perform a series of databases operation as a single unit of work. If any operation in the transaction fails, the entire transaction is rolled back to maintain data integrity. So PHP uses PDO, that is the PHP data objects, or MySQLi for handling database transactions. Steps to perform a transaction in PHP: start the transaction, execute multiple SQL queries, commit the transaction if all queries succeed, and roll back the transaction if any query fails. Okay, so the engines are the CSV, memory, MyISAM, INNODB. Okay, so these are the questions. So these were the questions asked in the company Cast24, and the location is Gurgaon, and the interview date was the January 7, 2025. So I will share more interview question with you. Till then, bye.